back. Welcome back. Okay, that feels a little better. I know the intro was off there, but that's okay. We are live. We are back. We are recording, and we should be streaming. Let me just double check myself. We are. It does feel like we've been around or been gone for a really, really long time. Part of the problem with the sound was that I had lost my mind. Hold on one sec. Somebody's texting me. We're going to get off my phone because that's the polite thing to do. It's between me and you. It is the Drive at 5. You're back with Jeffrey. We're here to talk. We're here to have fun. We're here to have a good time. It has been an eventful, 10 days or so since you've seen me last. And I won't get into all the details. Some of those details are not able to be shared, but just been a busy, busy time for me, busy time for the folks I work with, busy time for my family. Brooklyn had a birthday. My sister had a birthday. Got some friends having birthdays. It's just birthdays all over. It is the end of the school year, which is always a busy time. People call it Maytember. Congratulations to all those folks that are graduating, both from college, from high school. Understand it's a great achievement. It's an amazing thing that you've done. And it is a one more step in the great journey in life, and it is off you go. So what did we talk about the last time we were together? One of the things we talked about was how to let go of the things you cannot control. And I really am hoping that y'all can hear me. But letting go of things you cannot control is one of the hardest things to do. Understanding what you are in control of empowers you to understand what you're not in control of and allows you to let go and then focus in and focus on the things you can control, which then lets you be stronger, deeper in your understanding, and it also gives you a little bit of peace about those things that are really, really tough or important to you, but you don't have control over. It goes back to process versus outcome. You can control the process and how you commit to it and how you engage in it, but you can't always control the outcome. Here's another thing. Sometimes the stress isn't in the work. It's in the confusion. It's who's doing what, who's owning it, and who's just hanging out, there to catch the scraps, right? Or there to be counsel. So let's talk about how can you understand and better identify as a leader when you own the project, when you're just accountable for the project, and so on and so forth. So this came up during a little 2-Minute Tuesday LinkedIn learning thing that we did with Southwire, and it's called the R.A.C.I method. And that's not like let's get racy like it's the Attitude Era of the WWF or WWE, whichever way you want to say it. John Cena may be champion, but we're not going back to the Attitude Era and going to get racy on the podcast. What R.A.C.I stands for, it's an acronym. It's R is responsible. This is the person who is the doer, the one who's making something happen. Then A is accountable. That's the person who owns the outcome, and if it fails, it's on them. So you think about this. Maybe somebody owns a business, or maybe somebody's the vice president of, let's call it customer satisfaction or whatever it is. Okay, they don't do all the work, but they own the outcome. If the customer's unsatisfied, it's on them. So if you're at a Starbucks and the barista and you have a problem, they didn't make your drink right, or they overcharge you or whatever it is, the doer, the most responsible person in that situation is the barista, the one that you're dealing with at the ringing it in and then making your drink. Those two people are doing something. But the manager is the one who's accountable for it, because they're going to have to make it right if something goes wrong. And then there's C, which is who's consulted. So when you think about this is the people you go to for counsel. They're your brain trust, as I like to call them. Okay, so everybody's got one of these, or should be trying to form that as you get further and further along in your career. It's these people that maybe are external to the inputs. They're external to the project itself potentially, and they just maybe consulted on the project. They're not calling any of the shots. They're giving you advice. Okay, so those people's inputs matter, but they're not going to be accountable for it at the end of the day or responsible for it. This is where you could potentially get yourself into trouble if you're trusting the opinion of people who have no responsibility for the outcome, and you're not filtering it through because you maybe are the one responsible for it or accountable for it. Okay, and then finally, there's these folks that need to be informed, right? Maybe it's just like the CEO or the the vice president of XYZ. They need to be informed of what's going on, but maybe they don't need to be so much in the weeds. A lot of times, a phrase that's used is, "I don't need to see the sausage be made. I just need to be able to eat it." Right? I don't want it to be on my plate. These folks may get served up a report or a document that informs them of what's going on, but they're not necessarily responsible or accountable for the actions that's taking place, the project that's taking place. So now let's just take this from theory, like we just wrote that out: responsible, accountable, who's consulted or counseled, and then who's informed. Right now, let's take that to in practice. So Sheryl Sandberg was a person at Facebook, and they helped scale Facebook from where it was to where it was going. So early on in Facebook, and when it was growing, decision making was a bit of a mess. There were a lot of people in each meeting. There wasn't a lot of clarity on who owned what, and the deadlines slipped and the morale dipped. Because think about this: if everybody has the ball, and let's use it like a basketball analogy, if everybody has the ball, nobody has the ball. So if you're playing defense and everybody's trying to guard the ball, you get 4 other people that are going to be running wide open to the basket. Okay, so who has the ball? You got to call that out. And then who has their person? You have to call that out. So what did Sandberg do? She stepped in and asked one question: who is the DRI, the directly responsible individual? So when you're identifying who's responsible, that's the DRI. That person, you should be able to put a name beside it to say that's the person that's responsible for it. Now, there's other people that play a part. They're on the project team, whatever it may be, but they are not directly responsible for the interactions and what happens. So that's what a DRI is. So when Facebook's mobile ads platform was in development, it had product teams, engineers, they had legal, they had sales, they had the data team, they had the executives. Not everybody can be responsible for everything. So everybody had an opinion, but nobody had ownership. So we're talking about ownership over opinion. The council, the consulted people, they get to have an opinion, but they do not have ownership. So then let's look through this. So they assigned this stuff out. The product lead was responsible. The ads VP was accountable. So back to that whole, analogy I made earlier, the person who's doing the work, the product lead and their team, not just them. And then you have the accountable, the one that's going to answer for if there's a success or a failure. That's the ads VP. Now, legal and sales, they get consulted about the work and they get to give their opinion. And then the execs are informed. They're not in the weeds, but they get informed. So what was the result of all this when they just established this responsibility hierarchy, right? They had less chaos. They had faster work. Everybody knew what they were supposed to be doing because they knew who owned it. And the mobile ads obviously turned into a billion-dollar machine. Now, as things happen, if you don't continue to audit and do kind of these responsibility audits of who's doing what and who owns what, you can lose that clarity that you had. But this success happened not because they worked harder or just put in longer hours. I'm sure they did those things, but they were doing those things to begin with. But it's actually because they worked clearer. They got clearer eyes about who owned what. So here's how you use the R.A.C.I method for you. All right, let's test it out. Take one messy project and list everyone involved. Then assign beside those R, A, C, and I. Where do they sit on that hierarchy? What are they supposed to do? And then share that with the group and stick to it. Let go of everything that's not yours. If you're responsible for it, execute. If you're accountable for it, lead. If you are consulted, speak once, give your opinion, and then step back. Again, we've talked about this before. Are they doing it? And this is about delegation. Are they doing it wrong? Now, if it's wrong, you need to say something. Or are they just not doing it how you would choose to do it? And if it's not how I would choose to do it, let that go. That's back to being consulted. If it's just not how you would do it, and it's not like going to cause a bad outcome, let them don't micromanage. Let them do what they need to do. So if you're consulted, speak once and step back. If you're informed, stay curious and ask the right questions, but you're not in the driver's seat. So you don't need to be telling them, oh, I think this is how you should do it. You can give advice if asked, but you want to just be informed, ask good questions so that you can lead them to water and let them develop the idea. Because again, back to ownership, the ideas that you will own with the most passion and throughput will be the ones that you generated yourself, or you had a part in generating and you feel ownership. So, as we've talked about many, many times, leadership isn't about doing it all. It's about knowing what's yours and letting the rest go, right? You check in on it. You do the other parts of the R.A.C.I method, but you're not responsible for it. If you're accountable for it, you lead. If you're consulted on it, you speak to it, you give your opinion, then you step back. If you're informed, you ask the right questions. So I want to give you a R.A.C.I challenge, right? Check on your calendar this week. Where are you carrying roles that don't belong to you? Are you taking responsibility, something that's somebody else's responsibility? And where is your team unclear? If you have a team of people that you work with, even if it's just managing up, like, at some point, you can talk to your managers about this stuff too. You can say, hey, look, I understand you're accountable for this, but you've asked me to be responsible for it. Let me detail out what I'm doing. You tell me if there's a spot you don't agree or where you see some things that maybe you would like to see changed. Let's establish a cadence of communication. And then I need you to step back and let me have a little room to move. This isn't about, you're not good at it. You've just asked me to take it on and be responsible. I know you're accountable. I'm going to deliver the results you need, but let me be responsible for this. And if I succeed or I fail, let it be on me. Give me the advice. Let's have some cadence of when we're going to meet. But if you interrupt my thought process as I'm working through some of these things, I can't be as effective. That's something you have to do. You have to advocate for yourself to limit the micromanaging that might occur with your manager by having open and honest communication. And you can use this framework to do that. So where's your team unclear? Now fix the structure so that your stress is going to be minimized. And by the way, it's cool to be informed about everything that's going on. I know, I love it. It's awesome. The novel is good. You want to go find it and you enjoy all that information. But realize that there is sometimes a weakness in that knowledge. You have that knowing, and so you will judge things differently. So be careful about how informed you are. It's fine to be informed, but realize your role. Know your role, as The Rock would say. Know your role and shut your mouth. And I'm sort of being funny, but also there is a time when you have to be quiet, okay? All right, so that's the R.A.C.I method. That's our check. We'll talk about it a little more and dive into it as I see examples happen. That's something I want to do, is not just visit these things one time and never come back to them. As I see examples, I want to, kind of have like a callback to what we've done in previous shows. But with that, obviously this is going to be a shorter show. I'm at like 13, 14 minutes here. Let's go to the verse of the day. Are you shocked I remember where the transition button was? Because I am. This is what I get for being out of practice. I'm sorry that I'm out of practice. I love you guys, and I want to be here in the mornings, but I got to be honest. I'm not a morning person, and I was getting somewhat exhausted doing the morning shows. So we may be doing more afternoon shows. But just bear with me. I'll make sure there's plenty of content for you to consume. I know you've got enough content in your day. I'll try to make sure the content you do get is very valuable, and that we have fun and enjoy each other's company, because that's what we're here to do, not just learn, but have a good time. I'm trying to look up the verse of the day. There we go. It is coming from Proverbs 4:7. If I can get my phone to cooperate, we will go there. All right, and it says, let's go to 4:7. The beginning of wisdom is this: get wisdom, and whatever you get insight. Prize her highly, and she will exalt you. She will honor you if you embrace her. Okay, that's interesting. Why did I pick that? Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding. Oh, that's why I picked it. Yes, so it's not about just being wise, it's about understanding. Wisdom is important. Understanding is also important. So if you're not applying that wisdom well, then you can get yourself out over your skis. So this is your blueprint for the day, the R.A.C.I method. Use that and look into how to control less, clarify more, lead with the freedom that you know what you're accountable for and own the things you're responsible for, and then live a focused life. Focus on those things you are responsible for, and that will lead to your success. As we say all the time, learn to do the hard things, but don't make things hard on yourself just because you want to feel like, oh, I've been through it. I had a tough day. It's just so difficult. I'm guilty of that, right? You just want to be like the martyr. Don't have a martyr syndrome, right? Everything doesn't have to be miserable. You don't have to make yourself miserable to prove your worth or prove your standard or prove who you are. No, know what you're responsible for. Do it to the best of your ability. Seek counsel when you need it. Keep the ones informed who need it, including those who are accountable for it. When you're accountable for something, let your team that's responsible for it lead the charge. Stay in touch, stay close, but you do not have to take responsibility for those things that you don't own, okay? That is the secret, and that will let you let go. And also, don't just chew on the fat, like of the things from yesterday or 10 years ago. We talked about letting go before. You don't have to do that, okay? Because you're just making yourself mad and miserable, and that person has moved on. They've gotten over it. They didn't have a second thought about it. That unkind word that you uttered, pray about it, think about it, try to do it better the next time, but it's okay. It was 10 years ago. It was 2 years ago. It was 20 minutes ago. You can't do anything about it. Move forward, move on, do the next right thing, and you're going to be more successful in your life. I love you. I want y'all to be as successful as possible. Keep tuning in. Tomorrow, again, we're going to have the request show, the live music with Colton. Y'all tune in. Let's enjoy that together. I think we're doing that around 11. Let me double check myself what we got on the schedule. Arian threw it out there because she is awesome and amazing at her job and does a great, great job of keeping me on track. Yep, that is at 11 a.m. tomorrow. That's Thursday, May 22nd. If you can, tune in. I'll keep working on trying to get this to the audio-only podcast. A lot of you requested that. Keep telling your friends. Keep coming back. Suggest topics. But again, we love you. From here, we don't like to say goodbye. What do we like to say? See you real soon, because